Hi everyone, in this tutorial video, I'm going to go over how to complete the Word 1A Office for the Web assignment. And as I had mentioned in the Start Here page, as well as in the syllabus and the last few announcements, you are required to have Microsoft Office 365 on your computer. Okay. And so as a student, you can download Office 365 Education for free. And once you download it, you should see an icon like this, which is the Microsoft 365 Office. Okay, if it doesn't automatically appear down here in your taskbar, you might try to search 365 and then find it in your programs. But on the Start Here page, there was a video and some instructions on how to download it for free. So whenever you open up and start one of these Office for the Web assignments, you always start with step 1, which is download the starting materials. So I'll go ahead and click the download materials button. And then I'm going to click on download all files. And it's going to download all 3 of these files. And you'll notice on the top right here, the files will appear in my downloads if you're using a PC or even if you're using Google Chrome. Okay, for Macs it might be a little bit different. So if you don't automatically see your downloads files, you might have to search in your Finder or your Windows Explorer for those files. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and click on this Show in Folder icon, and that brings me to my Downloads folder where I have those 3 files here. Okay, and because this is Office for the Web, you do not need to have the actual Microsoft Office programs installed on your computer. What you can do is to use office.com, which is the online version of Microsoft Office. Okay, and I've also put the link in Laulima. It's simply office.com. You should see a sign-in button either down here or up on the top right corner. So I'll go ahead and click on this sign-in button here, and I'm just going to skip ahead here. When you downloaded Microsoft 365 Education from that link on our Start Here page, it should have prompted you to create an account, but please make sure that you do use your UH email when you do that. And I'm just going to update my password here. And so once you log in, you're going to be brought to the home page. On the left, you'll need to click on My Content, and then you'll also need to scroll down and then click on Upload. From there, it should hopefully bring you to your Downloads folder. If not, you may need to search for the location where those start files had downloaded to. Okay, and the first file I'm going to open is the Word 1A Office on the Web instructions file. So if you have a printer, I strongly suggest that you print this out. If not, you can just keep it here and then switch through your tabs to go back and forth through the assignment and the actual instructions. Okay, and this tells us in this activity we're going to use Microsoft Office for the Web, Word, to create an internship announcement similar to the one that we created in Project 1A if you had followed along in the e-text. Okay, and so it tells us from your Chrome browser, go to www.office.com and sign in with your college Office 365 account. And so we've already done that step. Okay, and then we need to open the Student Word 1A Office file. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my original 365 or office.com tab. I'll go back to Upload, and then now I'm going to open the Student Word 1A Office for the Web. Keep in mind that this is just my instructor view. For yours, it might say your last name and then Word 1A Office for the Web. Okay, so here is the start file. So we're going to use this start file with the instructions here on our instruction sheet. Okay, so step 2, if you take a look at the instructions, say, if necessary, display the classic ribbon as follows. So at the right end of the ribbon, you're going to locate the switch ribbons arrow, and then click to display the up arrow so that more commands display on the ribbon. And this is just because the simplified version of the ribbon doesn't have as much commands. So I'm going to click on this down arrow here that says ribbon display options, and to make sure that it has a check mark next to classic ribbon. Okay, also for step 2, it says on the Home tab in your paragraph group, make sure that your Show Hide button is used to display the formatting marks. So if you take a look at this, it says left to right text direction. You also have right to left text direction. But the one that we want is this Show Hide paragraph marks. So as Word Chapter 1 showed, your paragraph marks just indicate wherever we have enters in our document or spaces. And if I zoom in, we can see that each time that a space is entered, that there's a little dot in the circle or in the center there. After each paragraph, this backwards P or our paragraph mark indicates that enter had been pressed. Okay, and if we had pressed the tab key, another type of formatting mark would appear. Okay, so for step 3, and step 3 is the first graded question. It says at the top of the document, we're going to type internship opportunities. So you'll notice in the instruction sheet that internship opportunities is blue and bold. However, the blue and bold in your instruction sheet only indicates text that you need to type. So we don't need to bold it or change the color unless it tells us to. So I'm going to start at the top of the document, and the top of the document is in front of the word the, and I'm going to type in internship opportunities, and then it says to press enter twice. So 1, 2. As I mentioned, each time you press enter, you get your backwards P paragraph mark. Okay, and then it says to type BUSN Media is a leading provider of webcasting and streaming production services for large and small companies, municipal clients, and nonprofit organizations. Okay, and then it said to press spacebar, so I did. Keep in mind that if there are any typos or if you press enter or an extra space, MyLab will mark you incorrect because it needs to be typed exactly as the text shows here. Okay, so for step 4, it says to select the text internship opportunities. And then on your Home tab, so we're on our Home tab, we're going to click the font size arrow, and then we're going to select 20. Next, we're going to click on the font color arrow. That's the down arrow next to the A with the red underline. And then in the 5th column, we're going to select the first color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first color is blue accent 1. And finally, in the paragraph group, it says to select Align Center. So here's my paragraph group, and here's my Align Center button. Okay, for number 5, it says to select the remaining text in the document. So starting with Biz Until Media, and I'm scrolling down all the way to the last paragraph mark. I'll go back up to my font group, click the down arrow next to 12, and change that to 14. For step 6, it says to click at the beginning of the paragraph that begins Biz Until Media. Now on my Insert tab, I'm going to select Picture, and then I'm going to go down to this device. Okay, from here, it should automatically bring you to your downloads. Again, you may need to navigate to where those start files had downloaded to when we had downloaded them from my lab. And so you'll need to find the W01A media and then click on Open. You'll notice that once you insert that picture, you have a new tab appear. This is your Picture tab. It's a contextual tab, meaning that this tab only appears when you select an image such as a picture. But if you had clicked out of it, notice that that Picture tab disappears. So make sure you click on it once to select the picture. Okay, and then it says to select the Picture Styles arrow. So near the top left, you have your Picture Styles group. And then in there, you have a little down arrow. So this will give you the full view of the gallery of options. But you'll notice that the instructions say in the first row, select the 6th picture style, which is the soft edge rectangle. But notice that I only have 5 in each row. So you'll need to hover your cursor over them until you find the one that's labeled soft edge rectangle. So once you hover your cursor over the correct one, again, it should say soft edge rectangle. You can click on it once. And notice that it changed the edges of that picture that you had inserted to that soft edge format. For step 8, it says in your image size group, so here's our image size group. If necessary, select the lock aspect ratio checkbox. So just make sure there's a check mark here. And by selecting this checkbox, the height and width are sized proportionately when either one is changed. Okay, so right now, if the height is 3.7 inches, the width will automatically change to 6.5. For the instructions, it says to change this to 2.75. I'll press my Tab key, or you can press Enter. And notice that after you press your Tab key, that the width automatically changes as well to 4.83. For step 9, it says in your Arrange group, so that's here, select Wrap Text, and then you're going to choose Square Right. And it also tells us that this will make sure that your picture aligns with the right margin and the text wraps on the left. And so I'm going to zoom out so we can see this better. So notice the image is aligned to the right side of the page and the text is wrapped around your image. For step 10, it says to position the insertion point in the blank paragraph after the document title. So the blank paragraph after the title is right by this little paragraph mark here. It then says to type the following 3 lines of text, pressing Enter after the first 2 lines. So online interviews will be held. I'll press Enter once. Next I'll type in Friday and Saturday. January 14 and 15. And then I'll type in be prepared to participate in a video interview. And I'm including a period. For step 11, it says to select the 3 lines of text. So starting with online interviews down to the last line that I just typed. We're going to change the font size to 14. We're going to bold it and then apply the align center. Finally, for step 12, it says to click at the end of the last paragraph in the document. So I'm going to scroll down and click at the end of this last period. And I'm just going to ignore this little note there. I'll then press my enter key. And then for additional information, visit our website at www.bizmedia.tech. And I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. Biz Intel Media. And there is a period at the end, so I am pressing my period. Notice that I didn't press enter after this sentence. So I'm only going to press enter or the space bar if the instructions tells me to. So for step 13, it says to select the text that we just typed. We're going to bold and align center. The last step that we need to do in our Word Online document is to save this. So we're going to go to your File tab, and then we're going to go ahead and click on Save As. Okay, notice that we have a lot of different options here. For us, we're going to click on Download a Copy. You'll click Download a Copy one more time. Okay, and that should automatically save your file to your downloads folder. And now that we've downloaded a copy of this document to our computer, what you're going to do is to open up your Pearson grader instructions. Remember this window that had appeared earlier? We can close out this download starting materials because we've already done it. Okay, we've already followed all the steps here in step 2. If you had clicked preview steps, these steps were the exact same ones that were located on the instruction file. Okay, but now is the important part, uploading your assignment. You're going to click on Choose File. Okay, and then make sure that you upload the correct file. And it should have your name, 1A Office for the Web. I know that this is the correct file because it's the most recent file that was worked on in my downloads. Okay, and if you click your date modified, that adjusts the sort view. So I always make sure there's a little down arrow here indicating that my most recent file is always at the top. So I have this top one selected. I'll click OK, and then I need to actually upload it. That might take a few seconds, but once you do upload it and it says 100%, you can then click on Submit for Grading. But because I am in my instructor view, it's not showing me what happens, but after you click Submit for Grading, it will show you your score, and it might take anywhere between 30 seconds to 2 minutes for it to grade. And that's just because my lab is grading it on its own. Okay, and so that was the Word 1A Office project. In the next video, I'll show you how to complete the Word 1B Office for the Web project.